Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
I'll get the guns, the drugs from my generation. I'll take the fall, the state, and across the nation. And it's a sin, the guns, the fake, the fraud, the messing with me. Come on, let's get it out.
All right, come on in, sit down, kick up your feet, and let's talk some wrestling, shall we? My name is Brandy, also known as Ryan Taylor Girl. I also respond to Alaska and sometimes just, hey, you. Last week we go from having a no show because there's nothing to this week having a full show because there's everything. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited.
As am I, and this is me, Robbie S., once again. This time, however, coming to you 1 year older.
That's right.
I celebrated a birthday this past Saturday. Very low-key. Thank you. Celebrated a very low-key birthday, 27 years old now. It's kind of scary that I'm closer to my 30s than my 20s, but nonetheless, here I am, very excited to see what the future holds.
Indeed, and that means my birthday is coming up next, and I'll be 26, so we're getting there. Still not old enough to run for president, though.
But old enough to pay off loans and debts and all that fun stuff.
Oh my god, student loans. Let's not get on student loans because we'll be here for like 2 hours.
Yeah, this is not the student loan podcast. This is the pro wrestling and general nerddom podcast.
General nerddom, that's a very good description. I ordered t-shirts for us for Valentine's Day, and they're Legend of Zelda t-shirts, and it's the most notes that a post on my personal blog has gotten. It's gotten like 50 notes or something.
My co-host knows the way to my heart, and the easiest way to do so is through a video game series that I am a huge fan of.
It's a super cute drawing. It's Toon Link and Zelda in her Twilight Princess outfit, which is my favorite of hers. And the one of them says, "This Hylian boy loves his princess." And the other one says, "This princess loves her Hylian boy." So, of course, I had to go there.
And I couldn't pass it up. It's just something that I wouldn't have thought to wear before, but now it's looking more and more fashionable to me.
Because the drawing is the same, but it has different sayings, so it's not matchy-matchy, which is kind of creepy. But we'll move on from romance, because again, we'd be here all night. We're going to go ahead and, let's see, should we start with the latest speculation on AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, and Doc Gallows, and Shinsuke Nakamura, or should we start with Jim Ross and New Japan on Access TV?
Let's start with the speculation on the New Japan stars, because I feel like that's less recent.
This is true. AJ is going to be making his quote-unquote final Ring of Honor appearance for which is the night before the Rumble. It'll be January 23rd, and it will be in his home state of Georgia. So they're kind of really playing that up with ROH.
And what a way to go out, though, like in your home state.
This is true, and it's part of the Winter Warriors tour, which is winding down in Duluth, Georgia, and on the card they will have Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows taking on War Machine, Ray Rowan Hansen, Matt Jackson taking on Jay Lethal for the ROH World Championship. For the World Television Champion, we'll have Nick Jackson taking on Roderick Strong, Adam Cole versus Stevie Richards, the All Night Express, Rhett Titus, Kenny King, taking on the very odd tag team of Cheeseburger and Moose. Corey Hollis taking on Dalton Castle with, of course, the boys. There will be a multi-man, six-man mayhem match. Adam Page, Frankie Kazarian, Will Ferrara, Silas Young, Caprice Coleman, Jay Briscoe. Also, there'll be Mark Briscoe taking on Cedric Alexander. They don't have AJ's opponent announced yet, so it'll be interesting to see. I'm guessing that since Kazarian is in the six-man mayhem, it might be Christopher Daniels, because Christopher Daniels and AJ is always a clinic. There's lots of history, not just from them in TNA, but in ROH as well. So
Those guys go way back, and I have to imagine Chris Daniels is very happy for his friend making it to a larger stage.
indeed, and in a tidbit I read online that the original spot in the Brood, this was an interview with Gangrel, that went to Christian was initially going to be offered to Christopher Daniels.
Imagine how things would have happened, how things would have unfolded if that happened. I mean, no disrespect to Chris Daniels, but I don't know if anyone could have filled that third spot like Christian.
No, but he would have added a different depth to the Brood because he has his own, with being the fallen angel, he had his own little interesting sort of gimmick. So he would have added a different style. I don't think the Brood would have been as successful. We definitely wouldn't have had Edge and Christian, which would have been totally not reeking with awesomeness. So it would have been very interesting and very different. And then we wouldn't have had, Christopher Daniels in TNA helping to build TNA and all the great stuff that they did in the early 2000s there.
So things worked out for the best in hindsight.
Indeed. I have not heard anything else on when the other guys will be making their debuts, but Nakamura and Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, as far as we know, will at least transition through NXT in the Performance Center, whereas AJ is where their current speculation is that he's going to go straight to the main roster. They're not thinking he's going to make his debut at the Rumble now, since everybody is thinking that. But, we don't have anything confirmed. So we're just speculating.
Which would be a mistake on WWE's part. And I mean, I get it. I get that WWE loves its big moments, its big surprises that people don't see coming. But if an idea is good, regardless of the surprise factor, it's going to be a good idea. You should still go with it. You know what I mean?
True. And prove us wrong. Just because we think you're changing the plans, no, because we all know it's going to happen. Why not do a Russo swerve and actually have it happen?
Right. Sometimes a Russo swerve can be for the benefit of the fans. It can make for the big moments.
This is true. And continuing on speculation, Jim Ross has signed on to replace Mauro Ranallo, joining Josh Barnett for the commentary team of NJPW on Access TV. He's going to make his official debut on the show, on the one that will air on Friday, March 4th. So it'll be very interesting, and it's hilarious because JR, until things are confirmed, like all the T's are dotted and all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed, he denies everything.
He does. I guess that's another thing about wanting it to be a big surprise. I like that Jim Ross is coming back to wrestling on a somewhat full-time basis, commentating for New Japan on Access TV. Because when Mauro signed with WWE, moved to SmackDown, there was that gap for a play-by-play guy, and they needed someone to help fill that gap. And Mauro Ranallo did tremendous on that show. Like, for those who watched it, you can attest to this. Who do you get to replace him? Why not the greatest play-by-play guy in wrestling history, Jim Ross?
In entire wrestling history, that's debatable because you have guys like, oh my God, names escape me at the moment. But there's been other guys before JR, but definitely of the last 30 years.
Yeah, just think though, like kids today are gonna look at Michael Cole as the greatest play-by-play guy.
Oh my God.
It's weird to think about.
That's weird. That's sacrilege because Michael Cole is a horrible play-by-play person.
Yeah, like just hearing Mauro Ranallo on SmackDown. I don't know if you've seen SmackDown where Mauro commentates, but he's on a different level than Cole entirely.
No, I haven't watched regular WWE programming. Probably not since the last time we Skyped and you and Mike were watching Raw in the background.
Yeah, I remember watching. I remember, this is kind of unrelated. As far as Mauro Ranallo is concerned, the guy is a big pro wrestling fan, and I saw this one clip of of him on this Canadian talk show where Kyle Edwards and Renee Young were regulars in that show. All of them are now in WWE. In any event, they were talking about this episode of Raw back in 2010 where like the Raw GM fired John Cena or something, and Morrow got really angry at it because like the plot hole in the storyline like just got really loud and combative with Kyle Edwards, and then turns to Renee Young and just on live TV drops an F-bomb. It was amazing. I love Morrow.
Okay, he's already got points for me for that.
Just dropping F-bombs on live TV.
Yes, because that would be something I would do.
I don't know. Maybe you and Morrow can go bowling one day. I don't know.
We can go bowling or we can go paintballing or something. That would be fun. Moving on in the speculation world, I just saw this. My favorite news site go-to is Raja.com because they usually just report stuff that's got at least some evidence behind it. They don't just report shit for clicks. It looks like Daniel Bryan is going to be meeting with the head of WWE Wellness Testing in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this week. He is expected to go for additional medical testing as well as just meeting with this doctor. He's also making an appearance in Pittsburgh. He'll be at the World of Wheels convention on Friday, so that is also a lot easier because he'll already be in town. So we'll have to see because he's been cleared by several non-WWE doctors, and the WWE is refusing to let him go back to work until he's green-lighted by an official WWE doctor.
And I get that the WWE has its own medical staff. I get that they trust these guys and girls. But at the same time, how reliable are they compared to other medical specialists in big firms and medical practices? You know, especially when you consider what CM Punk said a number of years ago about their WWE's medical practices. I don't know. You know, I don't think that Bryan's being kept out solely because of health concerns. I don't believe that.
No, I think it's because everybody knows that he is the most over person, and they think that they can sort of try and control crowd reaction by withholding that and guise it under the veil of, oh, we're just looking out for him, when several doctors, like board certified really good doctors, have already said he can wrestle.
Yeah, I mean these aren't people who look on WebMD to see what's wrong with you, you know, thinking, oh, I got an itch, I probably have cancer. No, these are people who have medical degrees. I don't understand WWE's logic. I've kind of given up figuring that out at this point.
If people say women are hard to understand, I say fucking figure out WWE and tell me how hard that is to understand. Because there's hardly any rhyme or reason for 98% of what they do. Besides monetary gain.
Besides that, yeah, I don't understand. Hopefully, you know, the medical testing goes well for Bryan. Hopefully this leads to bigger plans for the guy. At least not, you know, I don't expect him to be in the main event picture at the onset, but, you know, upper mid card to start and then work his way back up. Exactly.
Come in, re-debut at the Royal Rumble, have a program with like Kevin Owens or something. That would be awesome.
I could see that. That's a cool idea.
So next we're going to go on to the drama surrounding that was started by the Tough Enough winner, quote unquote winner.
He won
Josh,
a popularity contest.
Who is known by his NXT name as Bronson Matthews. He did a tweet during Raw, which was the segment with the new stable of the Social Outcasts, which is Adam Rose, Curtis Axel, Heath Slater. Who's my fourth? Who am I missing? There's four.
Bo Dallas.
Bo Dallas. There we go. And he tweeted, he since has edited the tweet, but his original tweet was, yep, I like it. Hashtag social jobbers.
Ooh, and how the snowball rolls downhill, man. Just, the responses.
Indeed. He got into it with Kevin Owens, and Kevin basically took him to task, and you should look at the tweets because it's hilarious. And then he ended up being blocked by Kevin. Bull Dempsey was just like, dude, you have done nothing and bury the people who paved the way. Like, this is stupid. And then
Yeah.
Stardust, I think, was my favorite. Was enjoy dressing in the hall, dick. Not blocked, banned. Because everybody is taking notice of this. And a locker room, like, I've never been in a male locker room, obviously, because I'm a girl.
Mhm.
But a locker room environment is hard enough to get into when you're the new guy. But when you have already, like, pushed everybody's buttons, like, if you get to the main roster, they're not going to let you in the fucking locker room. You're going to be changing in the hall. You're going to be in a closet. They're going to make you change in the shower.
And it's not rocket science. You talk about how tough it is to get into the men's locker room. It's really not that difficult. Just conduct yourself in a professional way. Show respect to the people who have been there before you. You'll be fine. And the one tweet that got me, and I told you about this, was Adam Rose's response. And he talked about how he wrestled for 10 years before making it to WWE, where he spent 5 years in developmental, all the while doing drills and, with the thought of his ill son in mind. That's a lot to go through. Like, Adam Rose more than paid his dues. And for Josh Brettel to take this group to task on Twitter like a sixth grade bitch, give me a break. That is ridiculous. And here's the thing. It's like I said, the guy won a popularity contest. He won Tough Enough through fan voting. That's how the winners were decided. That's how eliminations were decided that season. Fan voting. He got a golden ticket to WWE, got a $250,000 contract. He got a pleasure cruise to the Performance Center, while other guys who've been on NXT worked for years beforehand before getting that shot. The guy hasn't had a single TV match, and he goes to task and just bashes these other guys. Unbelievable.
No, this guy's been in the wrestling business for like a cup of coffee. And the wrestling experience of these 4 guys that he bashed with one tweet have more experience in wrestling alone than more years than he's been alive.
And it's even worse when I've seen pictures of him on Twitter or Instagram of him partying and like grinding up on other girls, when the guy has a wife and a daughter. He just comes off as such a douchebag to me. He really comes off very poorly on social media. And I've talked about ZZ before and how I don't think he wants it. I apologize for ever saying anything negative about ZZ, because he is like Bret Hart in terms of professionalism compared to Josh right now.
Exactly. I would compare Josh to Zahara, the NXT Nazi diva who got her ass canned because she's a stupid bitch and tries to think that she can use Seth Rollins' connections on the independent scene to further her wrestling career. And it's like, no, you guys have the intelligence of like an amoeba.
Oof,
and the professionalism of an amoeba. And you're like a pimple on the butt of life, so please somebody pop their ass.
And right now, there really is nothing more for Josh to do other than go back on social media and apologize for what he said,
Oh, he won't. He won't. He's not sorry.
No, I'm just saying it's the best case scenario, because here's the thing about the internet, and this is the big thing, the one defining trait. Whatever you post online, it's there for life.
Even though he's edited the tweet and he took the hashtag out, it's on every single news article about this. You just have to search and you'll pull up that tweet. And if he thinks the boys are going to forget, like, no.
I mean, this is the same locker room culture that tossed the Miz out of the locker room when he spilled fried chicken on Chris Benoit's gym bag. Do you really think they're going to forget this? I think not.
Nope. And I would not want to be him when he shows back up for drills or class. Because if head coach Matt, or if, God forbid, Sarah sees this kind of attitude, like, you're going to get stretched and stretched good.
I think WWE needs to do a better job picking its tough enough winners.
Right?
They've not had good luck with these guys at all.
Mm-mm. No, they haven't. So right now, we'll let everybody cool down, decompress. We'll go to break. And when we come back, we'll talk about the Royal Rumble. We'll be just gone a short few minutes, so just stay right here. Late Night Sports Radio.
Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
Right, welcome back to As the World Turns, as I try and figure out what my cat is doing, which is riveting because I never know what she's doing. I'm
taking
kidding.
a credit card.
Yeah, she was sniffing around my purse. I'm like, what are you doing? But no, it's not Brandy's Cat Hour. This is the Hold 1005 podcast, of course, only on LateNightSportsRadio.com. We're going to go ahead and preview the Royal Rumble, because it's coming this Sunday, only on the WWE Network. And if you have not subscribed, if you're a new subscriber, you get a month for free. Unlike those of us who've been fucking subscribing since the very fucking beginning and have paid you over $120 a year.
By the way, do you know those flashcards that the commentary team uses to illustrate the difference between $54.99 for pay-per-view and $9.99 for the network?
Mm-hmm.
They did that on Raw this past
Oh
Monday.
my god.
I'm like, what are these cards for? Like, are we just pants on head stupid? We don't know what numbers are.
I mean, I think the vast majority of fans today can say that we definitely, even when pay-per-views were just $39.95, we definitely weren't buying every pay-per-view. We would either wait for it to come out on DVD when it would be $19.99, or we would wait for, when we're on the internet crowd, we would find some place to watch it. Because we definitely weren't paying that kind of money to watch it, because there are very few people that could actually afford that.
Yes.
But so far, we should see what we have signed.
Yeah, right now there's 5 official matches announced. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a pre-show thing announced later on in the week.
But what was recently added was the United States Championship match, Alberto Del Rio defending against Kalisto. WWE in this title hot potato thing, I hate it. Last week, Monday, Kalisto beats Alberto Del Rio for the United States Championship. Yay! Woo! You deserve this. Okay, fast forward. Tuesday, the next day, not even 24 hours, they tape SmackDown, and Alberto wins the title back.
This reminded me very much of Christian's first World Heavyweight title reign back in 2011. If you remember, he won the title at Extreme Rules, celebrated with Edge, who had just retired because of his neck injury. It was a great moment. People were behind Christian. We thought, oh wow, this is going to be a new path. Loses it 2 days later on the SmackDown tapings to Randy Orton. I don't get it. I don't get what winning a title then losing it less than a few days later has to do with long-term success.
Exactly. It makes zero sense whatsoever. So Alberto will be defending it in Kalisto's rematch clause match. And this past Raw, Becky Lynch very smartly used Ric Flair's hot temper against him and got herself another WWE Divas title match against Charlotte. Because there's one card you gotta push with Ric Flair, and that's kind of doubting his manhood or doubting his legend status, and she called him a coward. And she was like, what? What?
Oh, you don't do that, man.
I found it hilarious. I like that twist to Becky's character.
Yeah, I like this whole storyline in general. I think, and maybe this is just me, I don't know, this might be my most enjoyed storyline on the main roster right now, because it just seems like all the pieces have fit into place as they should. You have Ric Flair in the supporting role, offering support, not really taking prominence. You have Charlotte as this entitled heel, daughter of a legend. She's great at that. And then you have Becky Lynch, who, in my opinion, on the main roster, best babyface they have. Because when I watch Becky talk on the mic or wrestle or cut a great promo like she did this past Monday, or last Monday, I should say, well, both weeks really, I don't get the feeling that Becky is reading off of a script or memorizing lines. It comes across as very genuine, and it makes me, as a fan, want to see her succeed at the Royal Rumble, which I think she will. I think that we're going to see a title change on Sunday.
I would like to see that, because Becky Lynch as champ would make a lot of girls in the audience very, very happy.
Yeah, and I also think it'll happen because Ric Flair, when they were doing their segment this past Monday, Ric Flair went, "You had two chances. Third's the charm," meaning that Charlotte will finally put away Becky. I think it's going to be the other way around. I think that our steampunk diva will win her first uh, women's championship, because you remember when the Divas Revolution came to Raw, the three NXT girls came up, Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky.
Mhm.
Out of those three, who held the NXT championship? Out of those three.
Charlotte and Sasha.
Exactly. Becky's kind of been this sort of outlier, which shouldn't have been the case, but that's just the way the pieces fall into place. I think it would be very cool for Becky to win her first championship at the Rumble.
I think it would be very an interesting twist to have Rick try and help Charlotte and
Mhm.
have it backfire.
It could work. It could play
Have
into that.
Becky outsmart them, out heel the heels.
It could play into Becky's her ability to stay true to herself.
Exactly. Finally, for the championship matches that have been recently announced, the New Day, we're still mourning Francesca, right? That was the trombone.
Yep. In the arms
they'll
of
be
an angel. That's how
They'll
it goes,
be
right?
defending against the Usos. They'll be defending the tag team titles against the Usos.
I feel like I've seen this match before several
I think we
times
have.
now.
It's not our fault they have a sucky tag team division.
And it's not even like I can blame the New Day for it. You know, I love the New Day. You know it. I have their tube socks and their unicorn headband, courtesy of my little brother for my birthday. Thank you, Mike.
And Kofi, I tweeted it to all of them, and Kofi called him majestic.
And honestly, that made my morning when I woke up and saw that tweet. But yeah, as far as New Day goes, they need other teams. WWE needs to bring other tag teams onto that main roster, or at least feature ones that haven't been featured very heavily. You know, you can call up Enzo and Cass. I don't know if they're going to be winning the NXT tag titles anytime soon. Maybe you can bring up teams on a temporary basis. The Vaudevillains, Blake and
At
Murphy.
least as like a tryout to see how they're going to do on the main roster, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Just to get something fresh.
Because right now, this tag team division, it's kind of dragging its feet.
It is, and I realize, you know, with like Tyson Kidd and Cesaro are out, but there are other teams, you know, you can bring up the NXT for a feature. You can call up, because Becky is proof that you don't have to have been a champion to be over on the main roster. Because you can pull up Enzo and Cass, and, you know, that will be a totally different dynamic, because then you'll have like a War of the Talkers, you know, because you have the New Day and their gift of gab, and Enzo and Cass and their gift of gab, and that would be a very interesting dynamic and very, very good TV.
The promos would be tremendous.
And you can't teach that.
How you doing?
And also, the big title match is the Royal Rumble match, which will be Roman Reigns defending the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in a battle royal, in the big battle royal in the Royal Rumble. And he's, guess what? Number 1.
Yeah, big ol' underdog, Roman Reigns.
So if he wins and goes the distance, because there have been, if we're going to count Chris Benoit in the annals of history, there have been 2 guys that have entered at number 1 and gone the distance and won.
Chris Benoit?
Chris Benoit and Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels did it in 95. Chris Benoit did it in 2004.
So Roman Reigns could make history, for better or for worse, in this match?
I hope not. And there's also only been one man so far who won the Royal Rumble and won the WWF title, and that was Ric Flair back in 1991.
92.
92? I was close.
Yeah, 92. I only know that because it's one of my favorite Rumbles.
It was a good Rumble, so I really don't want Roman to win this, because it's just going to be it's a gimme. It's like, oh, come on.
It feels like this whole show, or at least this whole match, has been built around Roman Reigns, and the same can be said for the past number of Raws that we've been watching. You know, how do these shows begin? More often than not, with Roman Reigns coming down from the crowd and cutting a cheesy ass promo. It is the Roman Reigns show, and I don't even think John Cena has been protected this well. And that says something.
No, because John Cena would lose on Raw.
He would, and at the very least, it would look like there would be some doubt in terms of whether or not he would win a match. I don't get that same feeling from Roman. For all the things that could be said about Cena, he's too bland. He doesn't put other people over. I could never say that John Cena is a bad wrestler. He's a good wrestler. Roman Reigns, I don't get that. I feel like he's good in those short spurts, almost like Goldberg was back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to put him in like 10-minute, in like 15-minute, 20-minute bouts. You're gonna have him, kick ass in a short amount of time, get your big pop, and leave.
Exactly.
That's how Roman Reigns is built.
There's nothing wrong with that either, because not everybody can be an 104-minute man like David Starr. Not everybody can do that. You can have your guys that are only good for 7 minutes, but you have to book them correctly. You need to do the Eric Bischoff. You need to do the Paul Heyman. You have to accentuate their strengths and hide their weaknesses. By putting Roman Reigns in at number 1, you're going to see that he doesn't have stamina. You're going to be at the 30-minute mark, and he's going to be like me after trying to run for like a 30-minute, like a 50-foot sprint. He's going to be dying.
He is, and I think that Vince McMahon, he's almost like a child who's really fixated on the circle hole, but he's got a bunch of square pegs, and he's trying to like fit the pegs into the circle hole, but really can't do it, doesn't fit. So he just keeps trying and trying until it forms some sort of shape that resembles a circle of some type. You can't do that. You got all these different shapes.
And
not all of
them's fixated on certain people. He's like a kid with a toy. He's like, this is my favorite, and this is my favorite. My favorite's going to be everything else because he's my favorite. And then he's like, oh, I'm new favorite. And there's plot holes and nothing makes sense. And then we start the process all over again. You saw it with Seth Rollins. John Cena's been a loop, as well as Randy Orton, but they have the injury loop, so you have to insert new favorites.
It is very frustrating, and even though this Royal Rumble does have me on edge a little bit, I'm at least excited to see the potential surprise entrance, because if there's one thing the Rumble's good at, it's the surprises. It's the big moments where you go, oh my God, that guy's here. I think one of the big obvious surprise entrants, and we've touched on this before, AJ Styles.
Potential, because he's working the night before in Georgia, and where are they going to be for this?
They're going to be there in the Amway Center in Orlando, so I think if AJ makes the trip...
It's definitely doable, because it's a flight he'll drive from Duluth, where the ROH event is, to Atlanta. And then it's a direct flight from Atlanta to wherever they are in Florida.
Yeah. So that is very doable. And I think Styles could get a big pop in Orlando because it's kind of a smarky town, especially with, that being the state of NXT. Yeah, the TNA hub, and you got NXT, the Performance Center there. You could also have Sami Zayn be a surprise entrant, maybe come in when Kevin Owens is probably standing alone, and the two of them kind of having a preview of things to come, with Zayn maybe eliminating Owens, and that building to a match at WrestleMania. Whether that's for the IC title or not, who's to say? But it could be something to keep in the back of your mind.
Possibly. I could see Zayn coming in and even sacrificing himself just to eliminate Owens. Just like coming in at a full tilt, full run, hit him out, take the ropes, and I could see him doing that. But we'll see. For the announced entrance, we have Brock Lesnar, which was very cool to see the Wyatt family actually lay Brock Lesnar out. That was really cool.
That could be a potential feud.
Sheamus. Are you not entertained? No, I'm not. Chris Jericho, Stardust, Bray Wyatt, Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, Braun Strowman. So it'll be very interesting to see how the Wyatt family dynamic, because stable dynamics in the Royal Rumble are always different. because it'll go one of two ways. They'll either stick together or they're going to double cross.
That's kind of part and parcel of stables.
Dolph Ziggler, Ryback, Big Show, and Curtis Axel. And those are all the announced, confirmed entrants so far. There's also the possibility of Mark Henry. He had been previously announced, but they have since taken him off the list. So it's a wonder, what are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
It's possible Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose could still be in it, but with them being in a last man standing match earlier in the night for the Intercontinental Championship, I don't know if they'll be in good enough shape. But then you have this as such a thin roster, it's like you kind of have to put them in there.
I could see it happening feasibly if Owens versus Ambrose is the first match of the night.
I wouldn't put them on first because you're going to be putting them on a cold crowd.
That's a good point.
Because coming off the pre-show, they're still... You got to have something to warm them up. I would put the New Day on first because with their energy, they will pump up that crowd.
That's a good
point.
point.
And then you could feasibly go into that and then maybe slide in Kalisto and Alberto Del Rio, and then the women's title, and then we'll still be on a good loop as far as going into the Royal Rumble match. Do you think we're going to get a female entrant?
Do I think we're going to get a female entrant? No. I don't think we're going to get it. I don't know if you could really get someone to fill that role. I think the closest thing would be Natalya. But even then, she's, she hasn't really been in action. That means she came back after... I don't know, it just seems like she's been away for a while. She just recently came back on Raw.
Well, she broke her ankle and she didn't know.
Yeah, I guess that goes to show just how tough she is.
But the only one that I could see feasibly filling in just the size that you would need for a woman to compete with the guys would be Nia Jax, but I don't think she's at a point where that would be a feasible...
Nah, she's still learning on NXT, as it were.
This is true. So,
who do you think's going to win the Rumble?
Who do I think's going to win? Oh, shit.
Putting you on the spot.
Bray Wyatt. I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt.
Really? Oof. Now, there's a dark horse right there.
Because with him laying Lesnar out with Sister Abigail, I could see that being a WrestleMania match.
I could see that being a WrestleMania match as well. I'm holding to my prediction of Brock Lesnar winning. He could, be the guy who shows dominance, eliminates everybody, wins the title, and then Reigns could challenge him at WrestleMania for their rematch at last year's WrestleMania. Keep in mind, I don't want this match. It's just what I think WWE's mindset is going forward.
I think that since Bray has the endorsement of The Undertaker as the guy, as someone who's going to be the guy, that this is a good spot with the thin roster, with looking for new talent to push. I see them putting him in that spot. And having him lay out Brock Lesnar was a big kudos. Like, oh, they have some faith in this guy. Okay.
And you could argue that the Wyatt family would be the ones to gang up on Lesnar and eliminate him. I just want to see the Rumble winner be a surprise, because we haven't really had that in recent years. You could always sort of telegraph who was going to win it, whether it was Roman Reigns last year or Batista the year prior. It's become very easy to predict who wins these matches.
Exactly. We don't need that, because if Roman Reigns wins, you're like, oh my god.
It just shows that
there's
this one-track mind that Vince McMahon has. Hopefully it doesn't interfere with my enjoyment of the Rumble, because this is one of the big ones. This is one of the big four. People anticipate this.
I think there's enough good matches that it's not going to ruin the entire night, because you have Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens, last man standing, so they can do whatever the hell they want. You're going to have Charlotte and Becky Lynch. You're going to have the New Day, which is always a good spot. What else is there?
You have ADR and Kalisto, and they've had
Dark
really great
Horse.
matches. They've had
Exactly.
really great matches in the past.
So I don't think it's going to ruin the entire night.
So there is a lot to look forward to as far as this year's Rumble is concerned. Even if the actual Rumble itself falls in certain spots, I think the rest of the card is well-rounded enough to sort of make up for it.
Exactly, and there's definitely going to be a pre-show match added, and there's going to be probably at least one more, like a filler match put in there. Because you have to leave a lot of time for this Rumble match, because there's 2
Yeah.
minutes between entrants.
Yeah, I think if it's not an hour, it's close to it.
It's usually about an hour, so you're basically working with a 2 hour, which is shorter than Raw even, and there's no commercials.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio was in the Rumble for a little over an hour in 2006.
I think it was 62 minutes, 62 or 64 minutes.
62 minutes, I believe, yeah.
So it's, you're taking out 1/3 of your show. So there won't be a ton of other matches, but I can see them adding a pre-show match and then maybe one more little one. Just little one.
Just a little one?
Just a little one.
Just baby match?
Just a little one, yeah.
It'll grow up to be a better match.
But yes, and next week we'll get to talk about everything that happened, because this is you're going to wave the flag. We're on the road to WrestleMania.
Hopefully you packed the lunch.
I packed some snacks. I just hope it's not a shit sandwich from WWE.
No one wants a shit sandwich. And then you get dysentery. That's how it works, right?
I think so. Something like that. Scurvy or
Okay.
something.
I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV.
But next week, we'll see you right here, and we'll talk about what went down at the Rumble. Right here, only on LateNightSportsRadio.com.